Okay, so Neil deGrasse Tyson is or has a question that I'm going to attempt to answer. Um, this is for the multiverse. So for the Earth, just look away. There's this TikTok girl that Min keeps putting up, where she thinks she's the main character. Like she always thinks she's the main character. It's like, oh, don't look at me. so, so this is a multiverse question, and it's not for the Earth. So the Earth just look away, look away. So everyone in the multiverse and stuff. Um, when you don't know how to do something, just don't do it. Right? You could injure yourself and you could injure someone else. So just don't do it. All right? If it looks really, really scary, just don't do it. All right? There's a reason why professional athletes do what they do. They train for it. So if Min is doing something really out there, he's pulling pranks, he's doing all these crazy stuff, and he lands on his feet every time, he's a professional. You are not. You don't train for it, you don't practice for it, you're gonna get hurt. Right? You see with Molly and Kimberly, they try to do what Min does, and then and then they look their mom in the face and they're terrified. They can't land on their feet. They're like, oh, we didn't know what we did. What do you mean gangs? What do you mean terrorism? Oh, we don't know. We don't know. They can't land on their feet. Men, on the other hand, is like, I'm just a tomboy. He's a professional. He knows how to land on his feet. I'm just being a tomboy. Don't worry about it. All right? You see the difference. All right? You're not a professional. Just don't do it. There's nothing wrong with it. All right? Just don't attempt it if you're not a professional. Right? I wouldn't. Right? If I did what Min did, heck no. I would be so embarrassed. I can't get out of it. I'll be like, you saw me on Facebook. I'm like, oh, I feel sheepish. When Nicole lectured me, and it's like, yeah, you don't do that. You don't run away. You don't get mad at your siblings. You don't get mad at your parents, things like that. I was like, oh, I'm not like Min. Min would be like, man, I'm just being a kid. He gets out of it. He gets out of every trouble. He knows how to do it because he's a professional. Right? If you want to learn that, go to his galaxy, Dread Galaxy. Go learn that there. Don't learn it here. Do not attempt it. You can get hurt. You can hurt someone else. Don't do it when you are scared to do it. Right? So Min does crazy stuff and he's like, I'm being a kid. I'm not going to get in trouble. That's right. You're a kid. You can do whatever you want. Right? As long as you're not hurting anyone. Right? And you see Molly and stuff, they can't land on their feet. They're scared. They're like, we don't want to do that again. Me, I wouldn't even attempt it. That's how scared I am. I'm like, heck no, I'm not attempting that. You see me get in trouble with Nicole, and I'm like, I forget my name. I forget my social security number. I forget that I'm a girl. I'm like, yo, heck no, man. I can't handle that. Men, like, we gotta learn that, man. Like, he lands on his feet, man, every time. It's weird. It's crazy, man. He's like, nah, don't worry about it. I'm just a kid. To us, we're like, what the heck? How did you even get there? To us, we're like, we're scared. We're petrified. We're like, oh, heck no. So, yeah, like, the things Min does, he's a professional. Don't do it. Don't try it. All right? He'll teach you that stuff later. So yeah, with Amali and stuff, like, don't worry about it. Just think about it. Right? It's very wrong. Right? Min, he knows it's wrong. Right? And then he simplifies it to, I'm a kid. I'm gonna make mistakes. I'm okay with it. That's why he gets away with it. He gets away with murder. He really does. It's like, I'm a kid. So what? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do a science experiment. It's just get in trouble. You're supposed to. You're a kid. All right? As long as you're not hurting anyone and hurting yourself, you're a kid. You can do whatever you want. All right? But he knows it's wrong. That's the difference. He knows it. He knows it's wrong. All right? So with Molly and Kimberly and whatever you want, Shelby, Carly, whatever you want your name to be, know that it's wrong. Know it. Min knows it. All right? Know that it's wrong. And then, I'm a kid. What are you gonna do? I don't know everything. All right? I just don't. I'm a kid. All right. Now that's out of the way. So, Neil deGrasse Tyson's like, okay, expansion. Okay, time expands. In the multiverse, so in the multiverse, it could be this size, the multiverse, the universe. Inside is expanding. Inside. But the exterior, it stays the same. So that's what Neil deGrasse Tyson is asking. It's a girl. He's a she. She's asking, why does it do that? Right? Why does it only expand inward and not the exterior? So I'm going to try to explain that. So as we all know, we start as a string, right? We expand, and then we become human. And it's like, wait, why don't we continue? Is there something other than human? Like, why does it stop? Because like this exterior, it's all you need. Right? That's important to know. That's all you need. Right? It's like air. Air is all you need. Right? It's all you need. Right? You don't need weird stuff starting to come in and filling your lungs. Air is all you need. This shape, this size, that's all you need. This human body is all you need. Now, remember, time never stops growing. It's eternal. It never stops growing. So what part continues to grow? The brain. Right? That becomes your age. If your brain doesn't grow, you are static. You're not growing. Right? You're not expanding. Right? So what the part that grows is the brain. Right? So the body stops and the brain grows. Okay? So that's how it beats the constant expanding. So with time and space, it's static and expanding at the same time. You need both to equal time. You need to be static and you need to expand at the same time. That's what time is. It's static and it expands at the same time. So the body needs to be static, but the brain needs to continue growing. All right. So why are we eternal? Like, is it the body? Is it the brain? It's both. Is that readable? You can never remove it. I don't know how to explain it other than that. In physics, where if you break apart an atom, there's a ghost. There's a ghost of that atom. It's the same thing. So if you remove the physical brain, there's still a remnant, a digital ghost of that brain. Therefore, you're always alive. I don't know how else to explain. Um, so is it, are you, so the question is, are you eternal, or is it that you cannot die? I think that's the question Neil deGrasse Tyson's asking. Is it that we are eternal, or is it that we cannot die? Um, it might be the same question. Um, so I don't know how to explain it. Um, so let's try to explain it another way. So I just bought this for myself. I was just in Target and I made it for myself, but I bought it for myself. And it's when Goku finally becomes. I don't know where I'm going with this. I'm just talking to see where I'm going with it. He becomes Super Saiyan God for the first time. And let's say this is me, and let's say this is Min. All right. Um, how can I define eternity with two measuring points? Let's say this is eternal and this is not. Based on entanglement, if one thing is eternal, it makes this one eternal too. So that's what I was saying when I say that it's entangled, like you can't die, you can't get out of it. It static and movement are made of the same thing, right? In order to stop, you had to go. Understand? You go to stop. You don't start at a stop. So for example, why are there stop signs? To stop a certain motion. The reason why static is here is because something is moving. And that something is time. Is anyone getting this? It's like, so what I'm saying is you cannot have static without movement. You cannot have movement without static. It has to be one. It's one thing. That's why it's space-time. It's one thing. Okay? So that explains the same thing in entanglement. It's the same thing. It's so many just like the wire, there's so many avenues to why you're eternal. It's not just time and then that's it. You have to go further. There's entanglement, there's superposition, you have to go further, and it'll tell you why you're eternal. It's not just time and then you're done. It's time, and then you have to count all these strands, and then that's the reason why you're eternal. Understand? And to simplify that, it's entanglement. If one person is eternal, the other person has to be eternal. It has to be. Or else you're not a person. Why do animals become animals and not become humans? They're just a different type of string, right? So let's say this is an animal string and then this is a human string. It's just I don't know. It's just born that way. You're just born that way. So here's an animal string, and here's a human string, and but the same strand, the strand thing is the same. It's like if a human's eternal, guess who else is eternal? The animal. It's weird, man. It's really weird. But yeah, so that's my explanation of Oh, that's eternal. So that's the explanation of eternal. So yeah, So again, with the expansion, so this box art is not moving, right? But the DVD has information that moves. It's a TV show. Like if you put it into the slot, you watch moving pictures, right? That's the same thing. Right? I'm trying to explain it where that's the movement, but this is static. The box art is static. The DVD is static. But the DVD player reads the information and it moves pictures on the TV. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how else to explain it. Yeah, so what I was saying is static and movement, it has to be one. So the reason why the universe stops is it's like you're full, right? So the universe would stop and inside it would continue expanding inside. How does it do that? You got me on that one. I don't know. I know why it has to, because static and movement are one thing. Static and movement. Um, but how does it do that when you don't see it, right? You turn it this way or you turn it inside and you see it expanding, but you look on the outside and it's just nothing. That I don't know. So it's the same thing as I'm in the body, but my brain is growing. If you can understand that, it's like how? Like how are you not growing with your brain? I don't know. That's just how it is. Not that's not where science stops, but that's what I'm saying. It's like um, you see how I'm static, right? But my brain is growing every day, and it's not a physical growing. It's just it's information that's growing, right? So it's like the information inside is growing, but the physical is not growing. I don't know how to explain it. Like I kind of get it, but I don't. Apparently, I don't understand it enough. It's like the information grows, but not the physical. So you have to know the difference between physical information and other information. So this is physical. This is physical information. It's static. I'm not growing. I'm 5'6". I stopped growing around 18 years old. Like that's what time is like. Yeah, you're done growing, right? Just like the universe, like yeah, you're done growing. So when you're at a baby, you grow, you grow, you grow, and then when you're at 5'6", the brain is your time, right? Someone else is 5'10", someone else is 6'5". Your time is like your time is up. You're 5'6", you're done. What continues to grow is something in the brain. Some sort of the brain, right? The brain is physical. The brain is physical. So the brain stops growing, but there's something else that continues to grow, right? It's just like the universe. Like, how can you be growing and not growing at the same time? That's the physics explanation. You can be growing and not growing at the same time. That's what is it? What's that cat in physics, in quantum physics? Schrodinger's cat, where you can be alive and dead at the same time. It's not dead, it's static. Right? You need to change that wording. You can be moving and static at the same time. Alive and dead at the same time. So the physical part is done. I'm 5'6". I'm not growing any taller. Like that's done. my brain is done in my skull physically, but there's something else that continues. And we don't know what that else is. I just call it other information, right? There's physical information where you know a baby will grow, right? You know a baby will grow and then it's going to stop. It will become static, all right? So with time, it grows. The brain grows, the body grows. See, you see it. The brain and the body grows at the same time. That's what you see in an infant. The brain and the body. You never see this well-spoken baby. You never see that. It is a developing brain and the body grows with it. Okay? And it will eventually stop. It will become static. The other information, right? That's the physical. The physical will always stop and become static. The physical. I'm calling it other information. Other information continues to grow. We don't know how. We don't know where it is. Like, where's your memory? People are like, well, your memory is in the back of your cranium. But where is it? Where is it? We don't know. Right? It's other information. That's what I'm calling it. So that's the best. I hope that helps. That's the best I can explain it. And I apologize if I can't explain it well enough because I don't know it well enough. But that's the best I can explain it. So there's physical information, your physical self and your brain, and there's other information. I'm calling it other. It's like dark matter, dark energy. We just don't know what it is. We don't know how you're continuing eternity. We don't know how that happens, right? We know the body stops, but for some reason, something is not stopping. All right, you gotta understand that. So the physical always stops. It always becomes static. But the other information, we don't know what it is. We don't know its time, age. We don't know what it is. It continues. And because it continues, you continue with it. It's kind of like that baby that grows, like as your brain grows, that you grow with it. As it continues through eternity, you continue with it. Understand? You continue with it. The ancient civilizations call this a soul, but there's nothing inside of you but a heart. There's no soul. In physics, I'm calling it other information. Whatever that other information is keeping you alive, right? Because it's continuous. It just doesn't stop. It doesn't stop growing. And because it doesn't stop growing, it's like this tether. As it goes, it has its tail, and you're that tail. It keeps growing, and you go with it. And that remember in physics, is really weird, that it can be back in time. It could be you. See how weird that is? You want me to say it again? So the physics is fun, man. It's not scary. People need to stop seeing physics as scary. Other information. It will continue growing. And this is you, the static you, follow it. But it can travel back in time. In that projection, it could be you. It could be you pulling you. It's weird, but it makes sense. There is a static you, and there is a continuous you. but it's both you. But you need to break it apart to understand it, though. There is a static you. We see it. When I'm 5'6", I stop. When I'm 5'6", I stop. But my brain keeps growing. So it's both me. The 5'6" me and the growing me is both me. So you need to break it apart to understand that. And then you put it back and go, oh, it was just me all along. But you do have to break it apart to understand it. Like I said, time makes you eternal, but you have to count the rings and understand why. There's more to it. So it's not just, oh, I'm eternal. No, there's more to it, because there's a static you and there is an ongoing you, and we all know those go hand in hand. And with quantum physics and, entanglement, all these things, it makes you eternal. Okay? So it can go forward, and it can also go back in time, and then it'll just keep doing this. You see how it just never ends? You think there's just going through eternity? It's doing this. As it goes through eternity, it does this. Understand? It's just that motion never stops. So you never stop. And that you is this. Past, present, and future all at once. It's doing this. And because it's doing that, you can't die. Because it's always in the past, present, and future. It has this movement. You just cannot die. Movement equals life. You know how a scientist says water? You find water, you find life. Well, in quantum physics, movement equals life. So if there's any sort of movement, traveling in time, that's a movement. If there's any sort of movement, you're going to be alive forever. Okay? So it does this. You are leading it, you are trailing it, and you can also travel back in time and be behind death. You can be behind it, just pushing it along, right? And then you can also zip back forward, and it's all this type of movement. And that's how you're eternal. So that's the best I can explain it. And I apologize if I can't explain it better, and I apologize if you can't follow it, but try to watch it again and just try to think about it, because it should make sense. But I'll try to explain it better, but that's the best I can explain it for now. So, good question. Again, with the multiverse, please stay away from dangerous pranks. All right, you're just not ready for it. You're not mature enough. Right? Min is very advanced. But Min knows he did something wrong. Right? Don't think that Min shrugs it off. Right? He knows he did something wrong. Right? He just like, I'm a kid. That's hard to do. Not a lot of people can do that. You see a lot of people in prison for murder and all these things. They're like, why'd you do that? I'm a bad person. You never hear that out of men. Never. You're never going to hear I'm a bad person. Ever. It's not going to happen. All right? He's that he's that traveling ball. All right? All of you are behind. He's way ahead. He's never going to be the bad person. He's never going to be the bad student. He's never going to do anything wrong. He's like the perfect kid. That's how he sees it in there. Because he's always ahead. All right? So, don't do the pranks that Min does. But know you're just a kid. So you're gonna mess up. You're gonna make mistakes. So it's okay. Yeah, so so that's Min. You gotta understand Min is It's no joke, man. Min is a freak of nature. Like, he really is. Like, just as a normal kid and being time, like, that's what he is. Crazy, right? But you're a kid first. But once you hit that, once you know what you are, it's like, whoa, that's what time is? That's what time is? No wonder why Molly and Kimberly were like, whoa, that's time? Min's doing this. He could jump around anywhere. I'm a bad person. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. He could jump around anywhere. He'll never get caught, never get in trouble. I can't do that because I feel really guilty. I'm like, can't believe I just did that. I'm like that. I haven't learned what Min is time. You see how he never gets in trouble? Like, you look at him, you think that he's just this Vietnamese. Inside, the other information is going. Min never gets in trouble, ever. And I can't do that. I'm more of like, I'm going to get in trouble, so I'm not gonna do it. That's more me. I'm like, that looks like something I'm gonna get in trouble for. I'm just not gonna do it. So I do something else, and it's uniquely mine, right? Just like Min is very human, and I'm more like an animal. But we're both eternal. It's just two different ideas. So Min can pull off those pranks and never get in trouble, very human. But I'm more like a puppy. I'm like, no, I'm not getting in trouble, but I'm very cute. I'm very adorable. Right? Min's very adorable too. Like, he'll do bad stuff, and he'll be like, I'm not gonna get in trouble. Very adorable. And then me, I avoid it. I'm like, but I can tell jokes. So I'm adorable too. So it's equal. So that's why you don't want to stop Min, but you don't want to copy him either, because you're just not, you can't handle it, trust me. I looked at it, I observe it, I study it every day, I look at it, and I'm like, yeah, that's not for me. I can't travel back in time, I can't do that. But I can tell jokes. I'm really good at telling jokes. That I can do easily. My jokes are, you guys think jokes are like one linear thing. I'm jumping around. My jokes are like everywhere. And that's my thing. So yeah, try to avoid Min's pranks. You're gonna hurt yourself. But you can tell jokes, right? That's more of a cute puppy. You could do that. It's a lot easier. Min just hasn't taught everyone how to do what he does yet. But you can do mine for now. For now, while you're waiting, you can tell jokes. But Min will teach how to be human. Min's very human. He'll teach that later. But it's too advanced for all of us. Even for me. Trust me, I don't do it. That's why you see me push off Min. Because it's too human for me. I can't do it. But I can behave like an animal. I can be cute. So do that. If you're anxious, just tell jokes. That's easier. And just wait for Min later. Just wait. He'll teach you that later. Don't worry about it. All right. So that's pretty much it.